mid-afternoon, 2:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and this is going to be a gold update, our daily gold, silver, commodities update at 2:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get used to it. I'm doing it every single day. But first, I wanted to give you guys an update on the garden. As you can see, got some zucchini that's growing on the bottom. You can see a nice big one is growing in there. And then on the squash, if we can get this down here, you can see the squash is starting to form right there, which is fantastic. The garden's looking absolutely spectacular. Pulled out some herbs, got some tomatoes that are growing, as you can see right there. The green beans have exploded, and obviously the good old cannabis over here. So everything's looking very, very nice. I'm very happy with how it is, but I wanted to give you guys an update because everybody asked. And then the eggplant, see those beautiful, beautiful purple flowers on the eggplant that have just appeared. One more back here. See it back there? So we'll get some beautiful eggplant on there as well. Okay, so welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed the update of the garden. I'm very happy that zucchini and squash is growing, and that zucchini having one whole one already it builds me confidence. I haven't done zucchini or squash yet, especially back here, so it makes me happy. So let's read this. Then we're going to get into the gold. We're going to get into the commodities charts. We're going to get into the DXY, PBR. We're also going to get into the crude oil and the gold silver differential chart. So gold in relation to silver per ounce. So let's read this real quick, because every day at 2:22 p.m. now, look here on XRP Future Millionaires page, and we're going to be doing a commodities, gold, silver, and overall look at the commodities markets. So massive capitulation event could be happening in gold. So with gold erasing $70 this week while the US dollar surges and crude oil sells off, TD Securities is not ruling a massive capitulation event in gold. The precious metal was trading at an 8.5-month low Wednesday as the US dollar index rose to 20-year highs and crude oil fell below $100. August COMMODITES gold futures were last at $1,737.10, down 1.52% on the day. A major capitulation event may be unfolding in gold just a few days after our put spread expired as strategist kryptonite. We see evidence that the steepest outflows from broad commodity funds since the blah 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 crisis may be catalyzing a series of cascading liquidations from various speculative groups, said TD Securities and Commodity Strategy Daniel Galli. This argues for substantial downside for gold in coming sessions as participants are forced to sell in a vacuum. This trend is being observed across the whole commodity space as investors exit their long positions in fear of potential recessions denting future demand. A money manager rush for the exits is contributing to the slump in our demand signals as broad commodity indices are weighed down by massive outflows and recession fears. The top 15 fund by have posted fund outflows above $1 billion over the past week alone and are experiencing the steepest outflow since the blah 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 crisis. This highlights that a potential capitulation from the cohort is contributing to the slump in prices for all commodities, which helps to explain the collapse in our real-time commodity demand indicator. Highlighted copper in particular, noting a sustained downtrend. Galli highlighted copper in particular, noting a sustained downtrend as the metal dropped to 20-month lows Wednesday, unless the red metal miraculously trades above 9,550 by year-end. Copper markets are settling into a sustained downtrend to reflect a sharp slowing in commodity demand. For gold, it dropped below $1,800 an ounce, and then below the key support of $1,780 an ounce points to indiscriminate selling by broad commodity funds. The sell-off has likely catalyzed a massive CTA selling program as trend followers respond to deteriorating momentum. This also coincides with coordinating selling from Shanghai's top gold traders as CNI denominated prices begin to slump. So this is a major red flag for gold, given the number of long positions accumulated since 2020 when the precious metal is above 2,000 an ounce and set new records. We have cautioned that the substantial size accumulated by this cohort during the pandemic appears complacent in a liquidation vacuum. These positions are now vulnerable. Galli warned a sustained downtrend could form in gold if central banks facing a credibility crisis remain committed to their battle against inflation and keep rates elevated for longer than they otherwise would. So something I like to talk about is the public perception, and a lot of times gold does have a sell-off when recession happens because people sell off the wrong things. They're selling off gold like it's a risk asset. It should not be. So you can see today in the DXY we've crossed 100 spot 155 now. I have a targeted move up to $108 and 108 spot 114. I still think $120 in a capitulation style event is possible. I've called this every step of the way. First up to 102.94, then the move to 106.20, the retracement back down, showing that we were in an ascending triangle, breaking out of it. Now we have a technical target of 108.114. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Crude oil is trying to bounce back from coming under $100 a barrel. We're within a weird pattern here. Let me let this load real quick. We're within an ascending triangle, but we're also, if you pull this out into the weekly, we could technically say we're in a descending triangle, the bigger part of the pattern. And I've shown it, just because it's not on here. I've shown this falling channel, descending triangle, whatever you want to call it, where we had this violent wick pullback, but we use this area, and that could be used as a falling channel. But you could simply pull it back like that too. But for a time period, we're in this falling channel. We broke out into an ascending triangle, and now we're back testing. And if we can successfully hold this back test on the 100-day, magic can happen. PBR is up 4.41% today, but it's been struggling. It's in this ascending triangle as well, which is just an extended bear flag. And if this is where it fails, it can come all the way down to, I mean, there's a big drop that could happen here. It's incredible if it does break this uptrend, like it's showing signs that it wants to do. But we're going to come back down here. Although I don't really like to do that when I do bear flags, because we definitely have a tightening pattern that started to evolve here, and it started to materialize. And it's like, if we break this pattern in such a way, it's not going to be good. Like, there are really low numbers that could be hit in a capitulation style drop, but crude oil would have to fall off the map. Now, what I will say, to make this a little bit easier, is we're going to go like this, because you can see the small channel run. But if you look at the true pattern, just switching it around a little bit will give you a much easier look if you're trying to be more accurate. So if you switch it around like this, you understand you're in a bear flag, which a lot of times the bear flag ends up being ascending triangles, and then when it gets to the end, you have a bearish reversal. So that's what we're looking at right now. So let's see how this plays out with PBR. Fortuna Silver Mines is up 4.39%. I did buy some at $2.56 when we came down on yesterday, but I don't think it's going to be anything that I'm going to hold for any sustained period of time. All I'm trying to do out of this is try to see if we can make a push back up, and I'll show you once it loads. We're trying to just make a push back up and see if we can continue these crosses. We're getting a 20-day hold here, it looks like. So as long as we can stay above these levels, it does seem to me though we may not be done yet. May not be done with this pattern. So, and if you draw it out like this, if this is finally starting to build some kind of a trend, this is the uptrend that's formed here finally. You can go farther back, but just for the immediate time period, we're in this right now for Fortuna Silver Mines. So that's what I'm looking at there. So if we can hold this support, that is a bullish Gartley if it were to hold like this and pop back out. So we're going to see how it reacts to the 20-day at $2.84 is the big thing. And then gold. We've broken out of this little falling channel. We're in an ascending triangle bear flag that we talked about before. It broke out of it. So I'm going to just do this to make it a lot easier for everybody. Now that we're past these parts, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Or I'm going to show you what's happening. Let's take it into the daily. And you can see for gold, it's been on a very, very, very long pattern. Right now we're in a small ascending triangle. So I mean, you just have to follow it the way it is. And we're in a ascending triangle as well for the greater pattern, which the top end is up at almost 2,500 if we break out of here. The bottom end could bring us all the way back at like 1,094 area, 1,050. I don't see that happening. I'd be stunned if we break 1,437 if we ever got back down that low, but that is the potential, and I've never wavered from this. I've always shown this, and I hope it gets cheaper. I want to buy a lot more precious metals. And then the other thing I want to talk about, silver, and then we're going to go to the gold silver chart, which I don't know why it's not on here, but I'll have to put it back on. And then I'll let you guys go. And then let me know in the comments what you think about the daily updates about commodities at 2:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day. What is going on here? Why is it so frozen? There we go. And silver, just like gold, much larger patterns, ascending triangles. We've got ascending triangles within ascending triangles if we break it down like Inception style. But we broke through these levels. So now, unfortunately, all these levels that were there were real strong support levels that needed to hold. Otherwise, silver has this chance to come down here to $16 approximately. So I don't think we're done. I think we're showing signs that we're going to come down to about 16 bucks. It's a couple bucks more, but it's showing signs of it. So I wouldn't be too caught up in commodities as far as long holding things in the stock market. But I would obviously, if you're buying precious metals on hand, obviously keep buying that. And I'm going to show you, if you're looking to buy gold, I would probably hold off on gold right now. Because the gold silver chart, the ratio is crazy. Last time I seen we're about a 92 to 1, I believe it was. Yeah, we're at a 90.447 to 1. That is insanity, and this chart looks very bullish. These were my segments that I had broke out. And this is what I call the tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 breakout. We broke out of tier 1, which is down here. Now we're trying to bounce up here, and if we can hold this properly, we go to tier 3, which would be a 95.8 to 1. Gold hasn't had a ratio this far from silver since 2020. It's been 2 years since we've hit this. So we have a 90 to 1 ratio right now on gold. For every 90 ounces of gold or silver, you get 1 ounce of gold. Did I already have this on here? Yes, I did, right here. So for every, let me pull this up. So right now, the gold to silver ratio is 90.447 ounces of silver gets you 1 ounce of gold. So what I suggest is that you're getting a steal for silver. It's fucking on a fire sale. So basically, when silver gets back to 60 to 1, and everybody's like, well, when's it going to get back to 60 to 1? Well, while I've been covering this, as I've been covering this to you guys, silver was as low as 64 to 1. So that means if even from now at 90.4 to 1, you could buy 90 ounces of silver, you get 1 ounce of gold. Well, when it goes back down to just 64 to 1, you can take 64 of those ounces of silver you're buying right now and buy an ounce of gold, and that would save you, 26 ounces of silver just right there. Imagine when this gets back down to 25.30, which is where you really want to be converting it back to gold. Try to get rid of some of your silver because it weighs a lot. So, and then platinum, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I have some platinum as well. These are all the things that I talked about. I thought we were topping out over here. It did come up a little bit farther. And then we talked about these areas the moment it broke down, and this is how it plays out. And you can see it's absolutely broke down. I don't want to confuse everybody now with all of this because we broke past these areas. And now we broke past a very key resistance or support level that I was talking about. This is that if you break past this area, you've got a huge potential to now start breaking back down. And we're not going to use that top. We're going to say that that was just an extended wick. But we're in a very, very, very dangerous area right now. I mean, dangerous. For all intents and purposes, we broke down the walls right here. But we'll say that that's our last hope right there. But we're screwed. Platinum, if it breaks this, has a huge chance to come back down way farther. So, pay attention, be alert. I don't think it's going to go all the way down there. But there's definitely a distinct possibility that commodities are going to travel a little bit lower before having the ultimate breakout in the future.